Reese, there is only so many ways I can start a video, so this is a Marvel Andy book. This is Horror 2005, the Horror Andy book. And other than some limping at the start, it is a collection of fairly decent characters, but not Ghost Driver. There are a couple of things that seem conspicuously absent simply because they add profiles in other Andy books. Ghost Driver, obviously, Swamp Thing, Wesley Snipes, even Jennifer Hale, Zatanna. She's not in here. Her brother is, but she isn't. T'Pau. If I think on it, there'll be loads that are. Morpheus, the living Dracula. It's morph in time. It's just a thing that the Power Rangers say when his name is Morpheus. It's morphin' time. With that said, decent enough. Here is the credits. A lot of those characters I mentioned are noted, and you're told where their profiles can be found. It's all well and good, but when you're doing themed Andy books, it's disingenuous to not include profiles for the big obvious characters that fit in with the theme. And some of them are pushing the definition. Characters who maybe have horror origins or are horror in nature but are explicitly superhero characters. Our first few profiles actually have little to do with Marvel's horror comics. 3 pages that would perhaps be better served as profiles for Wesley Snipes or Ghost Driver or Jennifer Hale and Zatanna, who will instead receive profiles in the Women of Marvel Andy book that came out around the same time as this. Hands up, who wants me to cover the Women of Marvel Andy book next? Once we get into the swing of things, we start getting characters a bit more connected to the theme, like here. Chthon, another one that I wouldn't really count as a horror character, even though I guess he is. The Dark Book series, that sort of justifies his inclusion. But still, if you asked me to name Marvel horror characters, Chthon isn't the first name that is coming to mind. The main Dracula, scary guy. Also, a lot of the pictures they have selected are not very good for the purposes of an Andy book profile. The Brother Voodoo one we had before, that was straight from the 80s Andy books though. D. Spear, star of many a fill-in issue. The entity that destroyed the universe that came before this one. Profile doesn't mention that, just says that he is possibly from the universe that preceded this one. Frankenstein's monster, or just Frankenstein. I think people who are pedantic about that are idiots, because we are at the point where the monster has been called the creator's name enough that it is also his name. And like cars are named after their creators. Staplers. And people say, oh, have you seen the new Scorsese? I reckon it's alright to call the monster by his creator's name. There's characters, very minor characters, who I feel my channel has probably boosted their profile significantly. Like, I have done more videos about Hangman than anyone else ever will. Satan's Son, with bad art from his bad series. There's the one we want to see. The real Satan's Son. Mark Satan's Son. This is his art from the 82 Handbook series. 3 pages for Satan's Son. Good going for the character. Note: we don't really know who his dad is. Short-lived. Long-lived. Immortalist. Mortigan Goth. I should probably finish his series off. Halfway in. 2 issues down, 2 issues left. Jack the Ripper. Not entirely reliable profile because they later retcon that Mr. Hind was possibly Jack the Ripper during the Thunderballs' cross-time caper. Although I'm sure over time and translation, Ripper was originally another word beginning in R and ending in per, because that is what Mr. Hind is into. Violently sodomizing men. Hannibal Buress. I need to review that other Tomb of a Dracula issue as well. I read it ages ago. I probably have to read it again. Here is a character I, for some reason, always hear people talking about. Stop mentioning her. She's not that important. I know she met Monica Rambeau once, and I know she is in a Doctor Strange story, but can everyone stop mentioning her? If I hear her name one more time, I am going to scream. Legion of Night. Another one I got recently and need to read. We get the full team listed here. I don't know over half of them, but Jennifer Hale is the biggest character on the team. And Catherine Reynolds is from Steve Gerber Satan's Son stories. I know. Legion of the Unliving, with a giant picture of a Kurt Busiek comic instead of providing images of any of the previous iterations. We have got 2 Liliths here. Frasier's wife, Frasier's ex-wife, Lilith. Which one is your favourite? We have got 90s Lilith, and then we have got 70s Lilith. I wonder what 80s Lilith would have been like. Horrible hair, bet. Living mummy. Fucking, I would have called them the living mammy, because Geordies say mam instead of mum. But mammy means something else, and I don't think it is a character I necessarily want to use a racist slur alongside. Satan. Known relatives. Quasi-paternal relationship with Satan's Son. Put that in your pipes and smoke it. 2 pages doesn't seem like a lot for him. Also, this is a common thing. Very common. We have events out of order. Black art was in the fucking late 80s. It did not come after the death of Mockingbird, and it certainly didn't come after the abominable Steve Englehart Cat miniseries from 2000. Nightmare Man. Don't like this design for him. I don't like when characters that it makes no sense that they consider fashion decide to go sleeveless. Santa-ish. No mention in his profile of Steve Englehart making him Satan's Son's dad in the abominable Steve Englehart Cat miniseries from 2000. Scaredy Cat, not to be confused with Strawman or Janine Garofalo. Fuck, I ate this character, and I have come close to buying his comics, because there is an interesting thing. One of his supporting characters is blatantly meant to be Satan's son, but is changed last minute to Satan's son's never before seen and never again seen twin brother, Michael Satan's son. And the tragedy is, I suspect Michael Satan's son is written better than the Satan's Son series they published at the time, which was why they swapped out Satan's Son with a twin brother. Fog, also the name of Grey Matter's second and final studio album. Bit of a grower, but I think I prefer it to Food for Thought. But their best material is their first EP, Take It Back. And the weird thing, Take It Back is always packaged with Food for Thought. But Take It Back was recorded like 4 years before Food for Thought. Oh, and by the way, comic book author Steve Niles is a member of Grey Matter. Hardly fucking mentioned on his Wikipedia page. He was the bassist for Grey Matter. And 3, but they only did the one album. Some bangers on that though. Fuck 30 Days of Night. Grey Matter gets 1 sentence on his Wikipedia page. Not even at the start, not in the intro. Musician isn't listed on his profile. There are 2 Grey Matter albums, 2 EPs. There's Dark Days Comin', which was 3's album. Genuinely annoyed that his Wikipedia page strongly favours his comics work with a single sentence saying he was a member of Grey Matter. Call to arms. I want the Spunk Brigade, my own personal cum cult. Can you please start editing Steve Niles' Wikipedia article to insist that being the bassist of Grey Matter is at least notable enough to warrant mention outside of a single sentence in the early life section. Okay, my favourite Grey Matter songs. Honestly, Take It Back. That whole EP, that is great. Ed, the closing track, Burn No Bridges, Chutes and Ladders, the title track. Let's try and think beyond that. Fog, as I've Just Seen a Face, love that. There's a few on Fog I like. Food for Thought, honestly, weakest Grey Matter offering. I like Give Me a Clue, Fill a Void, Phobias, I guess. Really don't like their version of I Am the Walrus. Sorry, Steve Niles and pals. I generally don't like covers of I Am the Walrus. Grey Matter, Oasis, Jim Carrey. It's all shit. Now the rest of these, they have absolutely no connection to any late 80s Washington DC musical acts. Actually, maybe Steve Niles wrote an inventory story somewhere with Wary Wolf at 8. It's not an unreasonable thought. It's Food for Thought. Because that's the name of Grey Matter's first album. Then we have got Goth, Party On. That was this Handbook, and there is some stuff not great, and maybe if we keep editing Steve Niles' Wikipedia page, we can finally get a Grey Matter reunion going. They could do some of 3 songs as well. No, have 3 open for them. Really force Steve Niles to play music again. Maybe he'll go, you know, horror comics aren't for me. Music was my true calling. I'll rate this Handbook. They don't have any songs with 7 in the title. They did do a 7-inch, self-titled. That was a 7-inch. I'll rate this Grey Matter's 7-inch up. Shiver Boy. That was the track on that 7-inch that they never re-recorded for the Thog album.